Paresham.
Anye Vayanti Navashakti Yutam Param Tvam.
Anye Vayanti Navashakti Yutam Param Tvam.
Kechin Mahapurusham Avyayam Atmatantram.
Kechin Mahapurusham Avyayam Atmatantram.
Vam Brahma Kechit Avayam Utamadharmaneke. Eke Param Sadasato Purusham Paresham.
Eke Param Sadasato Purusham Paresham.
Anye Vayanti Navashakti Yutam Param Tvam.
Anye Vayanti Navashakti Yutam Param Tvam.
Kechin Mahapurusham Avyayam Atmatantram.
Kechin Mahapurusham Avyayam Atmatantram.
Vam Brahma Kechit Avayam Chita Brahma Meke.
Vam Brahma Kechit Avayam Chita Brahma Meke.
Eke Param Sadasato Purusham Paresham.
Eke Param Sadasato Purusham Paresham.
Anye Vayanti Navashakti Yutam Param Tvam.
Vayanti Navashakti Yutam Param Tvam.
Kechin Mahapurusham Avyayam Atmatantram.
Kechin Mahapurusham Avyayam Atmatantram.
Tvam Brahma Kechit Avayanti Utadharmam Eke.
Tvam Brahma Kechit Avayanti Utamadharmaneke.
Eke Param Sadasato Purusham Paresham.
Eke Param Sadasato Purusham Paresham.
Anye Vayanti Navashakti Yutam Param Tvam.
Manye Vayanti Navashakti Utam Param Tvam.
Kechin Mahapurusham Avyayam Atmatantram.
Kechin Mahapurusham Avyayam Atmatantram. Tvam Brahma Kechit Avayanti Utamadharmaneke. Eke Param Sadasato Purusham Paresham. Anye Vayanti Navashakti Utam Param Tvam. Kechin Mahapurusham Avyayam Atmatantram. Tvam Brahma Kechit Avayanti Utamadharmaneke. Eke Param Sadasato Purusham Paresham. Kechin Mahapurusham Avyayam Atmatantram. Tvam, you, Brahma, the Supreme Truth, the Absolute Truth, Brahman. Kechit, some people, namely the group of Mayavadis, known as the Vedantists, Avayanti, consider, Uta, certainly, Dharmam, religion, Eke, some others, Eke, some others, Param, transcendental, Sat Asatoho, to both cause and effect, Purusham, the Supreme Person, Paresham, the Supreme Controller, Anye, others, Avayanti, describe, Navashakti Utam, endowed with 9 potencies, Param, transcendental, Tvam, unto you, Kechit,
Kechit,
Sam,
Sam,
Mahapurusham,
Mahapurusham,
the Supreme Personality of Godhead,
the Supreme Personality of Godhead,
Avyayam,
Avyayam,
without loss of energy,
without loss of energy,
Atmatantram,
Atmatantra,
supremely independent.
supremely independent.
Translation: those who are known as the impersonalist Vedantists regard you as the impersonal Brahman. Others, known as the Mimamsaka philosophers, regard you as religion. The Sankhya philosophers regard you as the transcendental person who is beyond Prakriti and Purusha, and who is the controller or even the demigods. The followers of the codes of devotional service known as the Pancharatras regard you as being endowed with 9 different potencies. And the Patanjala philosophers, the followers of Patanjali Muni, regard you as the supreme independent personality of Godhead who has no equal or superior. There is no purport, so we will continue with verse number 10. Nahan parayu rishayo namarichi mukya jananti yat virachitam kalutsatva sarga yanmaya yamushita chitasa isha daitya martyadaya kim uta shashvat abhadra vrita. Translation and purport from Srila Prabhupada ki jai. O my Lord, I, who am considered to be the best of the demigods, and Lord Brahma and the great rishis headed by Marichi, are born of the mode of goodness. Nonetheless, we are bewildered by your illusory energy and cannot understand what this creation is. Aside from us, what is to be said of others, like the demons and human beings, who are in the base modes of material nature, Rajaguna and Tamoguna? How will they know you? Purport. Factually speaking, even those who are situated in the material mode of goodness cannot understand the position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What then is to be said of those who are situated in Rajaguna and Tamoguna, the base qualities of material nature? How can we even imagine the Supreme Personality of Godhead? There are so many philosophers trying to understand the absolute truth, but since they are situated in the base qualities of material nature and are addicted to so many bad habits like drinking, meat eating, illicit sex, and gambling, how can they conceive of the Supreme Personality of Godhead? For them, it is impossible. For the present day, the Pancharatriki Vidhi, as enunciated by Narada Muni, is the only hope. Srila Rupa Goswami, therefore, has quoted the following verse from Brahma Yamala. Shruti Smrti Puranadi Pancharatra Vidhim Vina Aikantiki Harer Bhaktir Utpatayaiva Kalpate. Devotional service of the Lord that ignores the authorized Vedic literatures like the Upanishads, Puranas, and Narada Pancharatra is simply an unnecessary disturbance in society. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1-101. Those who are very advanced in knowledge and are situated in the mode of goodness follow the Vedic instructions of the Shruti and Smriti and other religious scriptures, including the Pancharatriki Vidhi. Without understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead in this way, one only creates a disturbance. In this age of Kali, so many gurus have sprung up, and because they do not refer to the Shruti Smriti Puranadi Pancharatrika Vidhi, they are creating a great disturbance in the world in regard to understanding the absolute truth. However, those who follow the Pancharatrika Vidhi under the guidance of a proper spiritual master can understand the absolute truth. It is said, Pancharatrasya Kritsnasya Vaktatu Bhagavan Svayam. The Pancharatra system is spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, just like Bhagavad Gita. Vasudeva Sharana Vidur Anjay Saiba. The truth can be understood only by one who has taken shelter of the lotus feet of Vasudeva. Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavam mam prapadyate Vasudeva sarvamiti samahatma sudurlabha. After many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare. Bhagavad Gita 7.19. Only those who have surrendered to the lotus feet of Vasudeva can understand the absolute truth. Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita Jananatyashu Vairagyam Jnanam Chayat Ahaitukam. By rendering devotional service unto the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, one immediately acquires causeless knowledge and detachment from the world. Bhagavatam 1-7. Therefore Vasudeva, Bhagavan Sri Krishna, personally teaches in Bhagavad Gita, Sarvan Dharman Parityaja Ma'amekam Sharanam Vraja. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. Bhagavad Gita 18.66. Bhaktya Mam Abhijanati Yavan Yash Chashmi Tatvataha. One can understand the Supreme Personality as his only by devotional service. 1855. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is not properly understood even by Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma, what to speak of others, but he can be understood by the process of Bhakti Yoga. Mai Ashakta Manapartha Yogam Yunjam Mat Ashraya Asan Shayam Samar Gramam Yata Gnya Syasi Tach Chrinu. Bhagavad Gita 9.7. If one practices Bhakti Yoga by taking shelter of Vasudeva, Krishna, simply by hearing Vasudeva speak about himself, one can understand everything about him. Indeed, one can understand him completely. Samagram. Oma Gyanati Mirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Urmilitanya Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Tvan Brahma Kichit Avayanti Utama Dharmane Eke Param Sat Asatoh Purusham Paresham Anevayanti Nava Shakti Utam Param Tvam Kichin Maha Purusham Avayam Atma Tantram. Those who are known as the impersonalist Vedantists regard you as the impersonal Brahman, other known as the Miman Shaka philosophers regard you as religion. The Shankya philosophers regard you as the transcendental person who is beyond Prakriti and Purusha, and who is the controller or even the demigods. The followers of the codes of devotional service known as the Pancharatras regard you as being endowed with 9 different potencies, and the Patanjala philosophers, the followers of Patanjali Muni, regard you as the supreme independent personality of Godhead who has no equal or superior. And verse number 10. O my Lord, I, who am considered to be the best of the demigods, and Lord Brahma, and the great rishis headed by Marichi, are born of the mode of goodness. Nonetheless, we are bewildered by your illusory energy and cannot understand what this creation is. Aside from us, what is to be said of others, like the demon and human beings, who are in the base modes of material nature, Rajaguna and Tamoguna? How will they know you? So, in this section of Bhagavatam, we can see like Lord Shiva is approaching Lord Vishnu, and he wants to see his form of Mohini Murti. He had like strong desire to see this feature of the Lord. You see like Lord come in many forms, and in this section of Bhagavatam we can see like he comes in the form of beautiful woman. So when Lord Shiva heard about these pastimes, about his activities when they were fighting, about nectar, demons and demigods. Later on, when Shiva heard about this, he won also like strong desire to see this nice feature of Krishna, of the Supreme Lord. So he's approaching to Vishnu, and first he's like glorifying. He's putting like different prayers, and these like verses which we are reading now are also part of that Shiva prayers. And later on, of course, like the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he's like fulfill his desire, and he's like showing him his beautiful form of Mohini Murti. And later on, when we will continue reading, we will see like how even Lord Shiva is completely covered by Maya, by illusory energy, and how he is captivated by this beautiful form of Mohini Murti. Even he lost the semen, and later on he come back to his senses, and he realized, okay, it's like you should calm down. And then, yeah, actually that's like this chapter of Bhagavatam. So in this purport, Srila Prabhupada is saying about like influence of those who are in Tamaguna and Rajaguna. There is another verse in 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Daivihesha guna mai mama maya duratyaya mam evaye prapadyante mayam etam tarantite. This divine energy of mind, consisting of three modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome, but those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. So we can see that even like the demigods are sometimes confused about Krishna. Mam tu veda na kaschana. No one knows me as I am, the Lord says. So it's like to find like the souls who are like understand Krishna is very, very rare. Sa Mahatma Sudulabha. Therefore, unless one practices devotional service to the Lord, one cannot know Krishna as he really is. We can see like in this material world like so many educated persons, so many like different philosophies, but by theoretical knowledge we cannot understand like this subject matter, like who is like God. And academically one can be very learned, but because of his long association with material nature, he is in bondage. And I really like what Suhotra Maharaj is presenting. He's giving a very nice lecture about like demons in this society, and he's speaking about like basically like 90% of people are innocent people, and 10% of people are like demons. It's not included, like the devotees are not included in this. Like, and he's presenting like different philosophers and different schools, and one of them is like he looks like he really likes like Jung, and his philosophy is presenting as a genital character, and he was basically saying like how people nowadays are worshipping the genitals, and according everything is just arranged according this. Then is also like is like one term pandemonium, and it's pan means like everywhere, and demonium means like demons are also like everywhere. So Prabhupada is also saying that these modern misleaders, those who are unqualified and yet who occupy the leadership post in society, they have created this pandemonium. They have also allowed the human society to become overrun by demons. You can also hear from Prabhupada that he's also many times saying like this democracy is like a demon and crazy. It's like just crazy demons like running this society. And we can see like that all this is just for one thing, for sense gratification. It is not meant to like known to God or to like develop some knowledge about how to know to God. It's not so easy. And in one sense we can see like in America they have this like on every notes they have in God we trust. But basically they don't know who is God, they don't have any knowledge about like the God, but they trust in God. And it's quite interesting. Even in when we look in like world in general, we can see like you can find that the majority they are like Christians, you can say like that, and they were also like quite not very clear what's going on. They were first presenting that Jesus will appear like 100 years after his departure, when they crucified him, when he died. So they said, oh, okay, he will come in year 100. But he didn't come, so they were like confused, like, okay, so they just put one more zero. They said he will come in when he will be like 1,000. And there was one Pope, Urban II, he declared that the reason Jesus like hasn't come back, he said that it will be near like 1092 or 1094, something like that. He said the reason Christ didn't return is because the Muslims have conquered Jerusalem. Jesus will descend in Jerusalem, but how can he? Because the Muslims are there. So that was the cause of the crusades. And they made like 7 crusades. The kingdom of God is at hand. We just have to defeat the Muslims in Jerusalem, and Jesus will come down and give us the earth and set everything right. Jerusalem was conquered so many times, still nothing happens, still the promised day did not come. So gradually, although the ideal remained, the religious element won it because they were disappointed. Where is Jesus? He hasn't come yet. Maybe he's not coming. So this continued for like decades, and from this we can easily say that later on it was become transformed to so-called humanism, in which humanity become focused not on God but on themselves. And in European history we can see like various like social and political philosophies and concepts which later on like were set all around the world. And this philosophy like of everyone being equal and happy together. It's like, so this cause was taken by humanists, socialized, communists, and so on and so on. And we can see even today when we were in Harinam on Saturday, there was some many protests like be equal, we should be equal to almost every day. We can see like such kind of protests, like we should be equal, like this doesn't matter, like just really like this genital character. Like they produce like just doesn't matter who you are, just enjoy your senses as much as possible, and if you are enjoying your senses, then it's all right, and then we can create you like put you into another group of ism or some like anyway, zoophilia or pedophilia or whatever, and that's like everything is all right. There is one story, it was said by Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj about cranes and swan. And it was swan, like he met these cranes, and they never seen the swan before, and they were wondering like, who you are. You looks like completely different. You don't look like us. You are like, your body is like this orange, how we call it in English? Big, and your feet are like orange, and your eyes are like reddish. And where are you coming from? And so I'm coming from Manasa Sarovar. There is like very clear lake, crystal water, a very nice place. And they ask, are there snails? And I said, no, there are no snails. I said, oh no, so that's a not good place. It's a not good place. There's no snails. We will not like that place. There is nothing to eat, nothing like we can enjoy our senses. So that's like a situation where we are in. Like people are many times asking, how are you going to place where there has been misfortune, how you are giving out free clothes, and how you are going education, and how are you opening hospitals, how are you taking care of these people in general? And we can see like that transcendentalist is not interested in such affairs. And then they say like, there is no use to your mission. We will not follow that. So Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj says that they lack the capacity for the real philosophical introspection. And he says like there are 3 questions that should be answered in our life. And that is like what, who, and why. And this what means like the real problems of life. It's just like social injustice. Is that a real problem of life? Inequality, inequity? Is it anything like that? No, the real problem of life are birth, old age, disease, death. So that question must be first of all answered properly. And the second question, who? Who are suffering these real problems of life? Is the poor? Is the downtrodden? Is the social disease? No, it is everybody. Everybody is suffering equally. And last one, why? Why we are suffering? Because we have this material body, everyone, from Brahma down to the tiny ant. Everyone has this material body, everyone is suffering. So we can try our best to like find happiness in this material world. If we are poor, if we are rich, if we are thin, if we are small, big, doesn't matter. Everyone in this material world is suffering. So then it's like naturally like arise a question how we can get out of this suffering condition. And that is the subject matter of Vedic literatures, Vedic scriptures. On this knowledge we can approach like spiritual master who can answer this question. Tasmat gurum prapadyeta jignasa sreya uttama. And this is the ultimate auspiciousness, ultimate benefit for all living entities. And then we can find this answer for these questions. And then later on in the purport, Srila Prabhupada is writing about Pancharatra Vidhi system. And the word Pancharatra means like 5. Pancha means 5, Panchatattva. And Ratra means nights. And it is said that 2 demons, Madhu and Kaitava, stole all Vedic knowledge from Lord Brahma, so that Lord Narayan had to teach it to Brahma again. So he did it within 5 nights. And there are 108 Pancharatras, of which the Narada Pancharatra is one. And it is divided into 5 parts, known as Panchanga Puja, or the worship according to 5 steps. And the 5 steps are following. The first one is Abhigamana, or preliminary activities such as waking early morning, paying obeisances to one's spiritual master, cleaning one's body, putting on fresh clothes, performing achaman, putting tilak, reciting Gayatri mantra, etc. Second one is upadhanam, or collecting the required items for worship. Third one is yoga, or linking one's mind with the Supreme Lord by reciting prayers, which helps one to understand one's true identity as the eternal servant of the Supreme Lord. The fourth one is ijya, or the actual worship of the Lord with 16 upachars. And last one, fifth one, is svadhyaya, or the personal meditation or cultivation of devotional service such as shravanam and kirtanam. So we know that Pancharatrika Vidhi is the method of temple worship or the path of archana. And then we know also like the Bhagavata Vidhi or the path of Shravanam, Kirtanam. And that is quite interesting. It's here. In the Bhakti Sandarbha, Jiva Goswami gives the following explanation of how the two paths go together. It is Srimad Bhagavatam's opinion that the process of deity worship is not actually necessary, just as the specific prescriptions of the Pancharatra and other scriptures do not have to be followed. The Bhagavatam enjoins that even without practicing deity worship, one can achieve the complete success of human life by any of the other devotional processes, such as simply offering oneself at the Lord's feet for his protection. Nonetheless, Vaishnavas following the path of Sri Narada and his successors endeavor to establish a personal relationship with the Lord by receiving the grace of a bona fide spiritual master through initiation. And in this tradition, the devotees are obliged at the time of initiation to begin engaging in deity worship. Although deity worship is not essential, the material conditioning of most candidates for devotional service requires that they engage in this activity. When we consider their bodily and mental conditions, we find that the character of such candidates is impure and their minds are agitated. Therefore, to rectify this material conditioning, the great sage Narada and others have at different times recommended various kinds of regulations for deity worship. That's from Bhakti Sandarbha by Jiva Goswami. It's quite interesting. And then Srila Prabhupada he commented this quote, and he said, like, in other words, like the chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra is so powerful that it does not depend on official initiation, but if one is initiated and engaged in Pancharatra Vidhi, deity worship, his Krishna consciousness will awaken very soon, and his identification with the material world will be vanquished. The more one is freed from material identification, the more one can realize that the spirit soul is qualitatively as good as the Supreme Soul. At such a time, when one is situated on the absolute platform, one can understand that the holy name of the Lord and the Lord himself are identical. And the last one is like quite give like very clear understanding like what's this Pancharatrika and how it should be performed. One important point is to be considered by following these paths. Out of the 9 processes of devotional service, Kirtan is very important. Srila Jiva Goswami therefore instructs that the other processes such as Archana, Vandana, Dasya and Sakya should be executed, but they must be preceded and followed by Kirtan, the chanting of the holy name. We have therefore introduced this system in all our centers. Archana, Arati, Boga offering, deity dressing and decoration are all preceded and followed by the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And as we said as we heard in the morning from the Namamrita, and is this Kali Yuga, there is only one way, there is only one way, and there is only one way. It's Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama Eva Kevalam. It's the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. And there's also a nice description like how even the metal, like which is mixed with mercury, can be transformed to gold. So also, like even if we are not completely like pure, we can be transformed into Brahmana or Dvija simply by this initiation process, just by following in the footsteps of previous acharyas, following the Vedic literatures and following the process which is like given to us by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and all acharyas. So it's 9 o'clock. Thank you very much for your attention. If you have something more which can be edited, please do it. So thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavatam Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Vijaya Ekadashi ki jai.
Jivananda Prabhu ki jai.
If you brought the potato, if you brought the vegetables much earlier, we could start, we could start much earlier, because now we haven't finished.
Well, I brought them as soon as the arati was finished.
Yeah, but you could bring them before Prabhupada Puja.
Yeah?
You could bring them at 7:25. Then you could just start as soon as, that's what I used to do. I used to start at 7:30.
Okay.
Then you have everything done and dusted by 9, no problem, Otherwise you also miss half the class.
Yeah.
Going in and out.
Ça restait pas si dramatique en fin de compte. Voilà. On dort super bien. Pas trop froid. On va mettre un sac de couchage. L'idée c'est ça, c'est que ça s'échappe pas la chaleur. Il y a avoir des coquins comme ça. En perspective là. Ça commence quand c'est la soleil, pas dans cette super. Ça remonte un peu. Autant là. Encore là.
Yeah, so he needs some morale and he doesn't have That's attractive, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah.